Welcome back to the Hockey Show, and today we are talking about the Atlantic Division. Now, I've realized over the last few videos that I ended up somehow talking a lot about this division. I was just kind of thought it was really crazy to think about it, because some of the other divisions, like the Pacific, it's like, yeah, they're pretty much like set in stone, like who's like the real contenders in there. Like there's not going to be a lot of like up and down. Like sure, there might be some switches between like 2 and 3 or something like that, but there's really no one going to be like breaking in, breaking out, falling out. Same thing with like the Central, same thing with like there's not a lot of movement within the categories, but the division of the Atlantic feels like it is prime and ready to be a huge shift in dynamics here. Because let's start off with the very top, right? The Florida Panthers, 110 points, sets the mark there, won the division last year, then the Stanley Cup, 52, 24, and 6. They keep around Rhino, Carter Verhaeghe staying for a while. The biggest loss is, of course, Brandon Montour and OEL, losing them to free agency. And to me, there's not a lot of question marks coming with them, right? Defensively, they add in a couple of pieces to keep them somewhat competent back there. They might fall down a couple points, especially 52 wins in the losses of like their guys. Of course, Bobrovsky, well, having an amazing season this year. The last 2 years has been insane for him. He cannot be keeping up like that competition. Like there's just no way. So to me, the offense is also primed to kind of explode. Kachuk had a kind of a bad year last year. Like if they seemingly ready to have like a big offensive season, but then fall below when it comes down to the back end of things. So to me, it's like 52 wins. They could go down a couple of notches, but still, I would say they have to be top 3. The Boston Bruins, with adding Lindholm and Zadorov, they lose Linus Ullmark, but they still have Jeremy Swayman. Like, overall, they seem to have gotten better, and especially with Brazeau, Lohrei, Poitras, like, they had the opportunity to, like, they still have a decent team, and they might even be better than last year, and I have a lot of high hopes that Lindholm might be that fit that they need. Like, he thrived with Kachuk and Gaudreau, right? But it feels like Lindholm needs that kind of be, like, doesn't need to be the center of attention guy and feed the puck to a guy like Pastrnak, who then gives it back to him, makes some opportunities. I think he's going to fit in very well there. Offense, like, the Bruins didn't get worse by any means. They only could have gotten better. So to me, it's like they're going to stay top 3 as well. And then the Maple Leafs. This is where things start to get interesting, because the Maple Leafs, 102 points, 46, 26, and 10. First of all, right, the additions to this team, Christopher Tanev and OEL. Now, for me, on theory, I really like those additions. Tanev, I don't like the contract at all, but for this season alone, it's like, it is a fine addition to him, right? Like, he's a shutdown defenseman, he's going to be very competent. OEL was very good in like a second, third line pairing for the Panthers. So to me, it's like, for a team that already didn't really have a defensive issue, to just kind of pad that in, it's like they're not by any means like some sort of like superstars defensively in the NHL, but they do have a nice like core of defense back there they can throw on the ice and have some very like smart, level-headed players for right now, like play some good hockey out there. But it's the offense and goaltending side of things that worry me, because with the Leafs, they lose Tyler Bertuzzi, and they don't really bring in anything else that special offensively to the team. And really what they live off of is Marner and Nylander and Matthews and John Tavares bringing all the offense. Matthews brought all the offense last year. He got 69 goals last year, right? Like he was on fire, but whenever you have that big rise, even with the McDavids of the world, you come down. And there's no way that he gets 69 goals again this year. There's no way. He might break 50, but that is a 19-goal differential, right? 19 goals is good enough for, like, one guy for, like, a solid season for, like, a second liner, right? So there's going to be, in my theory, I would imagine he gets at least, like, maybe gets to 50, maybe a little bit below that, but at least 50 seems like a good promise to me. And 19 goals separation there is going to be a drop-off, especially for Matthews, who doesn't get a ton of assists as well. So you're going to be losing that kind of difference there. And Nylander had his hell of a season this year as well. So you got to imagine both of them go degress a little bit. And John Tavares getting older and only seemingly definitely just getting worse and worse. He's not like Marchand getting better with age. Like, he is seemingly just going down for JT. So Mitch Marner's the guy who also in his contract year is like, things seem kind of scary right now for the Maple Leafs to kind of have a setback here with like a new coach who Berube is not going to be the saving grace of this team. All I'm saying is that the Toronto Maple Leafs feel like they're going to have a year that they just kind of are down. And I don't mean out of the playoffs down, but they're going to have to compete for a playoff spot, especially with what is below them on the charts. 98 points, the Tampa Bay Lightning. This is the team I've been wanting to pick on. I made a video about them recently with the loss of Sergachev and Stamkos. They add in a lot of talent with Gensel, McDonough, Moser, and even Atkinson. But this team, with Kucherov holding all the weight for this team, right? Lifting them on his shoulders. What was it, like 54% of like the offense was from him alone, or like he contributed in it? Like, that is unreal. And he, a few years ago when he had his big Hart season where he set like the 134 points or whatever it was, he, after his insane season, right, he didn't fall off a cliff, but he went down, he went down 40 points, and Braden Point, he just isn't really that, like, big points guy. Jake Gensel, this year he had 77 points, so he's not, like, that big producer either. McDonough and Moser are, like, fine. I mean, I really like J.J. Moser, but, like, this team definitely feels like they're ready to have that big let go, like down year, huge down year, especially with 98 points this year, 45, 29, and 8. Look at who's below them and ready to explode. And the Red Wings, right, 91 points, 7 points shy of that this Atlantic spot, right? 91 points. They bring in Tarasenko, Mott. They add in Gustafsson, who I really liked on the Rangers. Cam Talbot, who was an all-star last season. He only seems also a guy who's only getting better with age. Like, Talbot, it is a question mark of, is this team's offensive pieces ready to go, right? Because defensively, they seem fine enough, especially if a guy like Evanson really steps up into a good position. But defensively, they have a passing defense. It is up to the offense of Larkin and DeBrincat to play a good whole season instead of falling right off a cliff. DeBrincat could play a whole season. I mean, last year the Red Wings started off at number 1 in like the NHL or something like that after DeBrincat's contribution. I don't mean he needs to be like a 69 goal scorer, but at least have a full season where he's playing a good hockey the whole year. And then Dylan Larkin, and there's a lot of good pieces for this team where they could all step up. And to me, they are the big question mark, because after them, the Buffalo Sabres are where I really bank on, and especially the Ottawa Senators as well. Both of those two teams feel like they need that one spark to just lift them into the stratosphere. And the Buffalo Sabres, 84 points, so they were, 14 points behind the Tampa Bay Lightning. They add in Zucker, McLeod, Lafferty, they add in some fine depth pieces, and Zucker could fit in the top 6, sure. But this team just needs to explode. The defense is loaded. Byram, Rasmus Dahlin, Samuelson, who's the one guy I'm missing that I don't... It doesn't matter, whatever, right? They've got such good defense back there, especially produce and also defend. Then you throw in the back end of things with Levi or Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Like, you have 2 goaltenders, and they're who it comes up to, right? Can they get consistent goaltending and play a solid year all around and keep them competitive? Does Tage Thompson and Alex Tuch show up again and actually put on another good season? And if they do, this team feels so ready to just explode and just be an enormous giant in the East. And, like, especially with their guys, right? They've got Tage Thompson, Alex Tuch, huge players, right? Defensively, they've got the pieces to score and play defense. They just need a goaltender, and they have it in Levi or Luukkonen. They have it. It's just they're just like the Ottawa Senators, where they just need to grab that brass ring and finally be a winning team. And with the Senators, right, they bring in Ullmark, and Ullmark is a big difference. From Korpisalo being that abysmal nothing goaltender last year, Ullmark is going to steal them a few games. And think about it. The difference of 78 points to the 98 is 20 points, right? But look at it, 37 to 45 wins, right? Of course, you throw in the overtime losses, right? But 45 to 37, that is just an 8-win difference. You don't think that with Linus Ullmark giving them a possibility of winning those close games could give them, I don't know, let's say 4 extra wins, and then you don't think Ullmark on top of that stealing some games is going to be a big difference? Also with the team being healthy, you get Norris the whole year and, well, hopefully, and Shane Pinto not suspended anymore. Like, you have, like, multiple pieces that are going to make this team so much more competitive. And you don't think 8-win difference is going to definitely come up, especially with a team like the Lightning feeling like they're perfect to fall out of the race. And you go over to the Metropolitan Division where you have a team like the Rangers, not the Rangers, but you have a team like the Carolina Hurricanes just, like, kind of falling down and just, like, that wild card spot's going to be open. There's going to be a wild card. I think both of them are going to be wide open for some teams. And the Montreal Canadiens at the bottom, they're not going to be up here. I think all of these teams, these 7 teams right here, all can be playoff contenders. Not cup contenders, but playoff contenders. I think the Florida Panthers and the Bruins are definitely safe. I think the Toronto Maple Leafs are safe. They just have too much talent to just fall out. Like, they're gonna make it in. I think they might, like, waver and someone below them could maybe end up here, but I think the Maple Leafs, no matter what, will end up in a playoff spot. But the Lightning, I think it would be easy to say the Lightning can end up here. The Leafs end up in either the 3rd or 4th spot, and a team, I don't think the Red Wings yet. The Red Wings just have not sold me on them. As much as I would love to, because the Red Wings is the first team I ever played for, not the actual ones, but the first team I ever really played for was named the Red Wings. The Red Wings were the first team I liked before I liked the San Jose Sharks as a kid. Like, the Red Wings have a spot in my heart, but the Sabres and the Senators feel way more primed for them to have a big year again for Tage Thompson and Alex Tuch to shine and get them a big spot up there. And the Senators, with Ullmark and all the talent that they have up front, feels like a perfect team to make it go. Like, the Red Wings fall down, and the Tampa Bay Lightning are also down. And it's like, it is a race between these 3 teams for that 3rd, 4th, 5th spot. And that is going to be a huge race this year. That is my prediction for the Atlantic. And I think it's realistic. I think the overall depth and potential goaltending of the Senators offset the super offense top end and decent defense of the Maple Leafs versus their horrible depth and goaltending could definitely equal out. And then you have the Sabres. Like, there's just a lot of, like, interesting pieces where they all even themselves out with each other. And I really think this is going to be the race here. And all 5 of them can make it in. This could be an all, like, wild card, like, goes to the Atlantic. I really could see that absolutely happening. I don't think anyone in the Metropolitan, like, this Hurricanes, like, just feel like they haven't done anything to make themselves better and might be pushed out by a great season of these teams. But this really feels like how the Atlantic could shape up this year. I think the Bruins might end up above the Panthers. I think the Bruins somehow, just by sheer genius and luck, are going to stay competitive and stay in the top spot. But this is what I think this Atlantic is going to look like this year. I think, well, these 2 could definitely be contending. So these 2 can trade spots, and I think the Senators finish below them. And that is how I feel about the Atlantic Division this year. I don't know. This is just a video. I've just been talking about them a lot, and this kind of been on my mind, so I wanted to make this. So that is all I got to say. So thank you for watching this. If you've made it this far, please, I'm begging you, please subscribe. And until next time, too sweet, have an amazing day, and ta-ta for now.